Okay.
Recording's going. Let me start streaming to Facebook, but I need to type in the event.
Okay.
I'm still getting it loaded up on Zoom to Facebook Live.
Cool. So give me your countdown. Let me know when I'm safe.
Yep, give me a minute. It's still connecting. Let's see.
Dang.
It's recording on Zoom, but not on Facebook yet.
Right, it's only recording to the cloud right now.
Oh, there's Darlene. God, we are so funny. Ryan, me.
Okay. Just a few seconds. We are live.
Well, I see a lot of empty spaces. That's all right. Everybody will be arriving. They don't usually get here until after 7. So we've got a few. I think we got a couple more minutes.
We are live right now on Facebook, Dan.
I can see that. It is up in my window. So we're good. Oy, oy, oy.
Hey, Johnny said he can get started.
Mhm.
Yeah, Johnny said he can get started. Johnny, you want to see him?
All right. So we're going to need one more for a quorum. If we do any other business tonight.
I'm here.
There we go. Well, let's see who else we get real quick here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August edition of the DeForest Neighborhood Association. I'm Dan Pressburg. I am the president of the DeForest Neighborhood Association, and my vice president, treasurer, and media person, we're all here together. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Port of Long Beach. That's who our special guest is. So we do have a couple of members from the port, Veronica and Mario, and then we've got other people will be popping in and out as we go. We will also be having a report from the 9th District office, Mike Gibson's office if they pop in, and we also have Malia from Representative Barragone's office. So other than that, we will be starting shortly. Hang in there with us. It's the summertime. It kind of slows down. I know people find it hard to get here on time, but that's okay. We're all comfortable in our homes, so that's good. So anyway, we do have an item that I did leave off. Actually, when it's in between where it says the adjournment and speaker, there's a space that I didn't get in there. And what we're talking about doing is we need to change the name of DeForest Park from the DeForest chapter of the Neighborhood Association just to the DeForest Neighborhood Association. So what we need to do is we need to get a motion on the floor and get this taken care of. We can talk about discussing about a DBA and all that, but we're probably better off going the other route, which is Sacramento to the county back to us, which is the way we originally did it. So with that, that's kind of the background. Is anybody wanting to talk any more about it or make a motion? Ryan?
Dan, we haven't discussed this as an exec board, so I think we should lay this over to the next meeting.
I concur.
Well, I was thinking that would be better that we have all of us with within the neighborhood association to see how we operate. And it's not going to just right out in the open and it's done and we don't have to deal with it. But if you guys want to wait, make a motion and we'll go from there.
I'm motioning that we wait until the board meeting. Anyone here that's listening is invited to any board meeting because we are open to the public.
I second Darlene's motion.
Okay. So I have a first and a second to lay this item over until the board meeting, which is coming up on August 25th. Is that right?
Tuesday, yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Joni.
Okay, we have Joni, we have Keith, we have Darlene that want to lay it over until our next board meeting.
You add me to an aye to that.
And then okay, so we have everyone else says aye, I say nay. So we have 4 yeses and 1 no. It's laid over until our next board meeting. Okay?
Sounds good.
Wow. Where is everybody?
Some are still traveling. And the thing is still on tonight too.
What's on tonight?
CNN. The Democratic convention is still on tonight.
Okay.
And a lot of people are doing watch parties.
Okay.
I honestly think we should just get going with the meeting. If people
Yep,
join,
I
they
think you're
join.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
Okay. So, Ryan, you've got the police report, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
You have the police report.
Yes, actually, I can share screen that. Just a moment, let me bring it up.
Just get it up on the.
Give me a minute and I will have it up. Sorry, I had to bring up another screen. So right now, we've been asking the police association or the police department to send us over all incidents that have happened. This is from July 17th, August 19th of this year. I will be posting it on our website. I can also send it in the chat so everyone can look at it in detail, but we don't have anyone from the police department here right now that can actually speak to any of this
Right.
on here. So I will send this out via chat, the PDF. You guys can download it yourselves, and then it'll be posted on our website post-meeting today as well.
Okay. Did everybody get a peek?
Yes.
Okay. That takes care of that one. I know Jonathan isn't on, so we will go right to.
Jonathan is on.
I don't see him.
He's on there.
He's here.
All right. Put him on.
He's on.
You're on, John.
Awesome. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Jonathan Solorzano. I'm the field deputy and case worker for Councilmember Rex Richardson. Just a few things to report. I know there's tree trimmings that have been requested in the DeForest Park neighborhood. I've gone ahead and submitted those and then followed up with the ones that have already been submitted. Somebody also recommended that we take a look at South Street, both for speeding and then possibly just doing some kind of maintenance on it. Especially since it's shared with the 8th District Office, it's something I'll be trying to coordinate with them on to try to get that issue resolved. And then finally, first off, I want to thank you all for organizing the event happening this Saturday. The census is just a really important thing, and maybe it's coincidence, maybe it's fate, but for this census to fall on this particular election is just of the highest importance. And so I do thank you all, and the council member thanks you all for organizing such an important event. And hopefully we can get those numbers up. We will have somebody from our staff, Nathan Godinez. He just joined our team about a week ago after interning with our office. So you'll get a chance to meet him. He'll be our new communications person, and he'll be over there to take pictures, meet with you all, and just sort of document the whole thing, and then represent our team, obviously, on behalf of the council member. So you'll get a chance to meet him, but we will have a presence at the event. I wish you all the best. I hope it's a successful event, and I hope to continue coordinating with you all on any future census stuff that may come up. That's my report. Any questions?
Yeah. What's going on with 59th and the mulch crap?
The Long Beach compost.
Yeah, the garbage pit next to the library.
So I have not heard any updates on that. I know Matt was following up with the gentleman that organizes the compost group, but I don't have any updates from Matt on that. I do know that they recently did meet with the owner of the lot. And so I know the last time we spoke, they were coordinating on something to expedite either the removal of the gentleman or work something out. But I think from the last meeting we had, it looks like it's just very likely that he will be leaving fairly soon. So, yeah.
Okay, because they seem to be getting more and more over there. It's getting real. We're
They're
gonna have
building
a
new
black
piles.
again.
Okay. I'll be sure to follow up with Matt on that just so that he can direct that conversation to either the lot owner or just follow up with Mark.
Okay.
Any other questions?
There's a tree that is right back next to a liquor store on Locust and South. Well, and the tree it fell down and it's uprooted. It's like a city tree, so it's probably dead. But it's just been laying there for a while. I see it every day I leave on South Street.
I see. Okay. South End Locust, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. Go to that. Thank you. Any other questions, concerns I may be able to address?
Hey, Jonathan, this is Joni. I had a question. I saw on Linden, they had some signs up related to like it was like it was a street closure for the communities. Are they starting to do that now on certain streets, like closing it to through traffic for the community, or how does that process work?
So we actually just had a meeting this morning with somebody from Public Works that's in charge of the Open Streets Initiative. It's a whole new thing. I know they just had a few trial runs in different parts of the city, but the way it works is that essentially it's a two-part thing, right? Obviously, one of them is for businesses to where they want to just create businesses to have outdoor dining. The other part is to have certain streets closed off for community members to just go outside and sort of do their thing. One thing that is very important to note here is that this by no means is meant to be taken as a sort of a block party type situation. I know a lot of us do have that that sort of visual when it does come to open streets. But I think the main concept of this and the main idea, the main takeaway from this is that we essentially just want to give community members a chance to just sort of go outside, do sort of outdoor activities while also maintaining social distancing, because the last thing we want is to see folks, congregating in large groups or having any sort of central point when it does come to these open street events. So, yeah, I mean, it's still in the beginning stages. They did reach out to us in the 9th District to select a few areas where we would like to see them. So if you have any suggestions in the DeForest Park neighborhood, I'd be more than happy to hear them and recommend those over to
Hey, Jonathan, thanks for that. Yeah, I think the street that would make the most sense to me would be South Street between DeForest and J Mills. I mean, there's no like homes are there. It's like there's a whole bunch of green space on either side. That would be a great area for the Open Streets Initiative to happen.
I agree, actually. Yeah, that sounds like a very great location. I mean, it's very low traffic. I mean, a lot of opportunities for the local folks to come and congregate there and just sort of, do their thing, ride their bikes or just, even walk there. It seems like a pretty peaceful walk. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be great. Thank you for that recommendation.
And then in the future, if community members have suggestions on streets that they would like to submit, how should they contact you directly, or what does that look like? What does that process look like?
Yeah, because I am the field deputy. I mean, I think I'm essentially the point of contact for any of the open streets projects. So I'll be the one to just make the recommendations, as I'm the one that's on the ground the most for our office. So yeah, any recommendations you might have, please feel free to send those over.
Okay. And then last question, is it possible for neighborhood associations to be notified when that happens in their neighborhood?
Most definitely, yeah. Anytime there's a street closure, the street signs should be posted 24 hours in advance, just so that folks can, just prepare ahead of time if there is any parking situations that need to just sort of be addressed, or just sort of plan around that. But yeah, Public Works or special events usually gives a 24-hour notice.
Do you know if that notice is by email? Because I know sometimes where the neighborhood association are notified of other things, say, coming through the planning commission or things like that. Are they doing that as well for this initiative?
I'm not exactly sure if they notify the neighborhood association. I mean, I'd be more than happy to do so, but I think they really just notify the street or the residents on the street in which the street closure is happening on. But again, yeah, I'd be more than happy to pass that information along to the neighborhood association leadership for whatever street closure is happening. Any other questions? All right, thank you all.
Dan, you're on mute.
Dan, you there? Maybe not. Have we done an announcement relating to the census yet?
No, we have not. Jonathan brought it up, but we haven't officially announced it.
Hey, Darlene, do you want to go ahead and do an announcement of our event on Saturday? Letting people know all the...
Yeah, no, we haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Yep. Saturday from 11:45 a.m. to 1:45 p.m. we will be doing a census event. You can come by, get information, and if not, if you haven't already filled in out your census, there'll be somebody there to help you do it right there on the spot. We'll be having giving away goodie bags with face masks and gloves and all that other good stuff. And we will also be serving lunch to the first 100 people. So if you know anybody who hasn't filled out their census, or they have questions, have them come on by. We'll be there. Love to see you.
Socially distanced, of course, with masks.
Yes, we will be
That
practicing
is correct.
distancing. If you don't have a mask when you come on, we will give you one, or we may ask you to cross the street.
Okay. So our next person up will be Malia. She gets to introduce herself once again and tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you're doing, and your new connection to us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Malia Blake. I'm with Congresswoman Barragon's office, so I'm her new bill rep for North Long Beach. Our district covers the 8th and the 9th district. So I'll be working with all community groups, neighborhood councils, and just stakeholders in that area of our district. I'm from Long Beach. I live in the 1st district, but I'm born and raised in Long Beach, so somewhat familiar with what's going on in your parts of Long Beach as well. But just here to kind of hear what's going on with you all. If you ever have any concerns or anything that I may be able to assist with, please just let me know. And if you would like me to ever bring anything to kind of report back on, let me know as well. But just happy to be here, excited to join you all tonight. That's it for me tonight. I don't have a report or anything ready for you. I just wanted to formally introduce myself and make myself known to you all.
Thank you, Malia. This is Joni. Could you put your contact information in the chat so people know how to contact you if they want to follow up with things related to Congresswoman Nanette Barragan's office?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Are you okay with us sharing it on Facebook Live with the contact information in the comments?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
Oh, what if we, hi, this is Keith. I have to hang up, so me and Johnny in the same household. So I was just wondering, is there any way you may be able to give out a report out to DeForest like once a month on status of things that's going on that's pertaining to the city, Long Beach, or the state, federal? I don't know if she heard it. Is she hear it?
Did you hear that question, Malia?
I don't think she heard it.
Sorry, I think it cut out a little bit. Can you repeat it one more time?
No, my husband Keith was just asking if it was possible for you to come to our meetings once a month and report out on relevant issues related to, relevant federal issues, as related to us or to the city of Long Beach or the region. That would be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. And so it's this meeting every
Third Thursday.
Right? Okay. Yeah, that's no problem at all. I can definitely do that just to keep you guys all updated with what's going on.
Thank you.
Dan, you're muted.
Does anybody else have any questions for Fatima? I'm sorry, Malia.
Nope, I think that's about it. So where did our port folks go? Did they abandon us?
Oh, we're here.
Hello, Dan, did you say with the Port of Long Beach?
Yeah, you're up. Your turn. There
All
you are,
right.
Mario. I didn't see you
I'm
before.
here. I'm
Yay.
here. All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Mario Gonzalez, and also joining me here is my colleague, Veronica Quesada. She's one of our community relations specialists here at the Port of Long Beach. So thanks for inviting us to make a presentation at your neighborhood association meeting. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if you guys could all see this. Can everyone see? Yeah, so I'm only using my laptop, so unfortunately I can't see everyone while I'm presenting, but if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt or, write your question in the chat box, and Veronica can help and assist and answer those questions as well. But again, my name is Mario. I'm the manager of community relations for the Port of Long Beach. So just going to give you an overview of the port itself. Many of you are probably very familiar with the port. So I'm going to kind of focus a little bit more on our projects that we have going on. Currently, right now, this is who are our Board of Harbor Commissioners. At the moment, we have Frank Colonna, who was a former council member. It was recently elected as the president. Steve Neal, who was a former council member in the 9th District, is our vice president. Bonnie Lowenthal, again, former elected locally and also as an assemblywoman. She's our commissioner, former president. And then Bobby Olvera, he is our newest commissioner. And he is with the Longshoremen Union, ILWU. And then Sharon Wiseman is also one of our newest commissioners, and she was recently appointed by the mayor's office, but has been actively civically active for a very long time here in Long Beach. One thing you'll notice before I talk about that, but I just kind of wanted to just share a little bit about the port's, responsibility not only to ensure that business and cargo continues to move in and out of the port complex, but also we do that with balancing out our environmental initiatives along with being socially responsible. And so this is an opportunity again to ask any questions, and that's why we're here even virtually to see if you have any questions regarding about the port. But one thing you'll notice is that we did update our logo recently in the last, I want to say 6 months or so. So you can see it playing there in front of you. So we we didn't necessarily like leave off the green port, but we did change our tagline to include the port of choice. You know, it's getting very competitive with other ports across the United States. Our what we call our BCOs, our business cargo operators, like Targets and WalMarts, they have options to taking their cargo, their merchandise anywhere from Port of Long Beach to up and down the coast, even in, you know, all the way to Prince Rupert in Canada to the Gulf of Mexico to the East Coast. And so you know, we thought it was time to kind of change our logo to be that port of choice to ensure that we continue to continue to bring in the commerce and increase our commerce as we move forward and grow the port. So the port was founded in 1911. You can see here that the first shipment was lumber. And that lumber was used to build housing here locally in Long Beach. But today, the port complex is the 9th largest port complex in the world when you include Port of Los Angeles. You can see here, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor, but it's, you know, this is the border line here between Port Long Beach and Port of LA. But we share Terminal Island. But Long Beach itself is the second busiest seaport in United States. Los Angeles, our sister seaport, is the busiest, but together we are the 9th largest port complex in the entire world. So we move about a little over 40% of all the goods that come in through ocean freight come in through right here through our harbor. So another neat thing to get a perspective is ship sizes. You know, about 10 years ago, the largest size ship was an 8,000 TEU, and a TEU stands for a 20-foot equivalent unit. Most of these containers that you see here are all 40-foot units, so they're 2 TEUs. So this is what we're seeing today. Today we're seeing ships that are carrying 19,500 TEUs. So the ships are getting larger. They're getting a lot longer and wider. And so in order to maintain our business and be competitive with other ports, we have to ensure that our infrastructure is able to work on those ships. And so we've invested about about $8 billion in the last few years, and we're investing an additional $3 billion in our infrastructure in the next decade. And here is a little bit of our numbers here. Last year, 2019 was our second best year. 2018 was our best year ever. But you know, because of the trade wars and what's going on currently with COVID, we have seen a dip of our goods that have come through the port. But recently in July, we just had our most busiest July ever. So things are getting better, but we're continuing to see, you know, the shift in trade. And this here will give you an idea of who we're trading with. So, you know, whenever those discussions are going on with the trade, you know, agreements, that really has an impact on the amount of goods that come in through the port. So of course we're getting about 90% of our trade is with Asia, and you can see here about 62% of that is with China alone. So when we talk about our exports, this kind of changes a little bit, you know, but ultimately it's still, most of it is going out to Asia. You can see a little bit more of Australia in here, but for and other is like it could be Latin America. But a lot of stuff that we are exporting is a lot of what we might consider as trash, like waste paper, scrap metal, but we also export quite a bit of um, of grains or feeds for animals, expensive items that are made here in the United States, and they're getting shipped out to other parts of the world. So the impact that the Port of Long Beach has here in Southern California is about 1 in 20 jobs are supported by the port. In Long Beach alone, there's about we redid our economic impact study, and about 1 in 5 jobs are now dependent on our port operations, and that's just here in Long Beach. Across the United States, you're talking about 2 million jobs that are supported by our operations right here in our city. And then when you compare us to other ports in North America, this is what I'm talking about, where it's getting competitive. When I first started a few years ago, New York, New Jersey was moving about 5 million TEUs, or 20-foot equivalent units. You could see New York, New Jersey is the third busiest. It's been the third busiest for a long time, but they're getting really, really close to surpassing us here. And so other ports on the West Coast, like Oakland, they're a lot smaller. Let's see if that graph comes. Oh, there it goes. Is moving a little over 2 million, about 2.5 million TEUs. But some of the other ones on the East Coast, like Savannah, are increasing their cargo output because they're investing in their infrastructure to be able to accommodate those larger ships that are crossing the Atlantic Ocean. So how do we do this? By maintaining our Green Port initiative. We do this by ensuring that our commission has adopted a Green Port policy, which then as staff, we are the ones that enact this policy. Our commissioners passed this in 2005. They recommitted in 2015. And so since then, we've been able to reduce diesel particulate matter by 87%. You can see here we are also measuring our nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, and our greenhouse gases. So even though our cargo volume has increased, we're continuing to see the decrease in air emissions. And that it has to do a lot with our initiatives and our technology. A lot of the cargo handling equipment, those are like RTGs, or they look like big forklifts, or any kind of machinery on the terminals. We're shifting things to using electricity, or to using battery. There's a few pilot programs that are using hydrogen cell. So basically, water is the exhaust, or what's the aftermath of that. But ultimately, we want to ensure that all of our cargo handling equipment becomes zero emissions by 2030.
Hey,
Our
Marty,
trucks, yes.
can you hide the screen sharing message at the bottom of the presentation? There's a hide. There you go.
Oh,
Thank you.
cool. Thank you. So with our Clean Trucks program as well, we've initiated a few of those, but this is our zero emissions truck initiative, and we want to get to zero emissions to modify all the trucks to be either hydrogen cell, battery, electric by 2035. This is an example of one Tesla that has worked on a truck. They're still really expensive. I know Toyota has worked on one that is battery operated. So the market is actually helping to drive this to ensure that we are reducing our diesel emissions. That's our air quality, but also our water quality. Our green port policy also includes water quality initiatives, and since we've been able to clean up our harbor, we've seen quite a bit of more plants and animals. Some fish have returned. We conduct a biodiversity survey every 2 years, and so since the initiation of the green port policy, we've actually have seen fish that have returned that we weren't seeing for a very long time, which that tells us that our water here in the port harbor is healthy and allows for animals to thrive. So here are some of our bigger projects. Our bridge. You probably have seen the bridge. You can probably see it from all parts of Long Beach or driving on the 405. But this bridge to everywhere, we like to say that because literally, trucks that are going over the bridge are going to every congressional district in the entire United States. With an exception, of course, of Alaska and Hawaii, but to the mainland states. But about 15% of the commerce that comes in through the Port of Long Beach and Los Angeles are going over this bridge here, and that is the Gerald Desmond Bridge. So the new bridge here that we are replacing is a $1.5 billion bridge. It is scheduled to open up this year. It is a cable-stayed bridge, so you'll see the cables that are holding up the platform. But it's really going to allow for bigger ships to go into the north part of the harbor. Right now, with our current bridge, you could see here where only the vessels that we've seen 10 years ago are able to enter the back part of the harbor. So by having a newer, a taller bridge with a higher clearance, this will allow for bigger ships to cross into the north part of the harbor. So these towers that you're seeing here are 515 feet high. And so this is going to be an amazing bridge. It's going to be lit up. It's going to have seismic monitors in case there are any earthquakes to ensure the safety of folks that are going over the bridge. But it is scheduled to open up in October. So there will be some announcements. It's most likely in mid-September. And that'll let everyone know when it's going to be open for traffic to actually drive over to and from Long Beach and San Pedro. Another one of our bigger projects is here. It's the Long Beach Container Terminal, LBCT. It's our greenest facility. It's the greenest facility in the world. This is another $1.5 billion investment. If you could look at my cursor here, this is what makes it one of the neatest facilities here, because all of this area where you're seeing all of these boxes is what we call a no man's land. This is all done automatically with the computer systems to allow for the shuffling to occur and allows for more efficient terminal processing. The ships, the cranes that you see here are all electric, and they can be operated on site on the facility or remotely in another location. So they have that technology to be done at both places. This facility also has what we call AGVs, automated guided vehicles. These are driverless vehicles. They're operated by a battery, and you could see here they assist the larger cranes, and they will take the container to the sorting cranes, and that'll start the shuffling process. And so when a trucker has to pick up their cargo, it's all based by appointment system. And so they'll know exactly which container to provide that particular driver, the trucker, and then that truck will leave with the correct container. And that is scheduled to open up by 2021, so next year. Another big investment that we're working on is our rail infrastructure. We've invested about $1 billion in rail in the last decade, and will be investing a significant amount more, another $1 billion in the next years to come. And when you think about, when you compare trucks to trains, trains are a lot more efficient than trucks. For every mile of rail, of train that we build here in the harbor, it's equivalent to eliminating about 750 truck trips off the 710 or off the highway. The other reason why we're investing a significant amount of our revenue into our rail infrastructure is because of the high amount of volume that that comes in through Port of Long Beach and Los Angeles, and we can expedite that and get that over to Chicago in about 3 to 4 days, and to the East Coast in about 1 week. So only about 30% of what comes into Long Beach stays in Southern California in the five counties. The rest of it actually goes out. 70% of it goes out of sort of California. It goes out to the Midwest, to the South, all the way to the East Coast. So this is a project that we're undertaking at the moment. It's called our Pier B on dock rail support facility. We currently have a small rail facility, but it's not large enough to build 2-mile long trains, and it's not efficient. And so our team, the port is proposing to expand the footprint, and you can see here it's outlined in red, to about 2 miles, to allow for the 2-mile long trains. Let me see. Let me click on this. To allow for the 2-mile long trains, and if by building these new tracks, it'll allow us to build what we call, it'll allow for us to bypass the 710, easy up the traffic there, and use the Alameda corridor at a higher volume to get these containers in and out of the port more efficiently. So this is still in the very infant stages right now. This is about a 14-year project, and so we are just barely entering our design phase. And so we have a quarterly meeting that we meet with stakeholders, with community members, whoever is interested in learning more about the project. The next meeting is September 2nd, and it's a virtual meeting. And that will be at 11 o'clock, and that information can be found on our website. So regarding COVID, has impacted all of our lives, and so one of our duties at the port is to ensure that goods are still moving through the port with or without COVID. And so our number one priority was safety, along with business continuity. So with that being said, we were able to provide supplies, PPE, to our dock workers, to folks that are truckers, to folks that work at the port itself. Most recently, we just opened up a testing site for anyone that works at the port, to ensure that we could expedite them and get them in and get them tested, to ensure their safety and the safety of their colleagues. And one other thing that we've seen that's happened is a number of what we call blank sailings or ghost sailings. Typically, there are some, we usually experience them during the Chinese New Year, but there has been quite a bit more due to the current economy and trade war with China. So here's just a comparison of the past 3 years of our container volume. And I've only talked about container volume because that's a majority of our business. We also do move cars, which are roll-on, roll-off. We move liquid, like petroleum, crude oil, solid cement, salt. Big old generators. We move practically everything in and out of the port, but containers is sort of our biggest volume of business at the port. So you can see in 2018, the numbers there kind of drops around February because of the Chinese New Year, but it picks right back up. There's been these waves here along towards the end, but 2020 has been a little bit slower, but we're hopefully we'll see a rebound of those numbers in the near future. Okay. One thing that we also did is we did activate our incident management team back in March. And so because pretty much myself, Veronica, and 500 others, most of us, about a good 80% of us, are not reporting to our facility. To ensure the safety of ourselves, of our family members. We did activate our incident management team to ensure that we are viewing our operations from a different perspective to ensure that we have a very limited number of COVID cases at the port. So with that being said, if you have any questions, please let me know. Myself or Veronica can answer them. And again, this is our website here. So if you have it, you could go to our polb.com for information. You can have it there. I'm trying to go through it pretty quickly because I know it's almost getting late. But let's see how I could escape this. Let me see. Let's see if I could stop sharing. There you go. So if anyone has any questions or anything, you could ask me now, or I'm not sure how much more time we have, Dan and Ryan.
This is Keith. I have a question. Is there any programs, or are you guys going to create any programs to help make the trains that's pulling that 2-mile cargo out greener?
Yeah, so actually all of our locomotives, our current locomotives are all Tier 3 engines, which is the cleanest engines you could find. Some of our other locomotives those are our PHL locomotives, so that's Pacific Harbor Line. BNSF and UP, I know that they've modified their locomotives. They've used some special filters to clean up their locomotives, but overall, our PHL line, our harbor line, is extremely is clean. It's the cleanest fleet, and those are the ones that operate within the harbor district.
I have a question.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. I love especially all the environmental initiatives that y'all are doing. I was wondering, that's really great. Is there are you working with kind of independent organizations to monitor these emissions and to ensure goals are being met, or is it just kind of done within the port organization, just to be accountable that, the goals that you have, the great goals are being met, especially with biodiversity and all these, great, amazing things, that need to happen.
Oh, Fatima, great question, because all of our clean air initiatives, it is a partnership with the Port of LA. It wouldn't make sense for the port to initiate some of these programs or modify our equipment if Port of LA doesn't follow through. And also, when you look at the flow of our wind patterns, it actually tunnels towards Long Beach itself. So it kind of goes out through Wilmington over towards Long Beach. So that is a partnership with the Port of Long Beach and Los Angeles, and we call that our Clean Air Action Plan. And so we do have are constantly meeting with various organizations, environmental organizations that are always keeping us on our toes in that sense to ensure that we are, meeting these goals. So it was something. These goals and objectives were put together by the port, but with in partnership with some of our industry partners, but also our various environmental organizations. Veronica, do you know when the next? I know Veronica attends the Clean Air Action Plan meetings, but there is a website that has all of that information.
Yeah,
But the biggest concern.
I'm definitely interested if it's open to the public, just to, like, kind of see what.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'll tell Veronica if you can drop the Clean Air Action Plan. I think it's Clean Air Action Plan LA. I forget the website, but if you can find it, Veronica, I know it's .org, and then drop it in the chat box. But
Yeah,
the okay, thanks. Yeah. So the biggest issue though with a lot of these initiatives is the funding, and so there's the Clean Air Action Plan completely with all those initiatives. I think they've quoted, I think it was like an $18 billion sort of investment. And so some of the technology that has been, mentioned in that document has not, it does not exist, or it's not available mainstream. Some of these projects are still in pilot form, to see if some of these larger sized batteries, if they're able to haul, or how many times they could actually move cargo in and out of the port, because or else the trucks would have to sit, at a charging station. The other issue is, after these batteries, right? These are massive, massive sized batteries. What happens? What do we do with them after? So there's a lot of conversation about how could we, what can we do to ensure that not only are we being environmentally friendly, but also having that it's being sustainable for the future.
Hi, Mario. This is Joni. I had a question.
Hi, Johnny.
I know one of the concerns I've heard when the move to like add technology and automation is the loss of jobs at the port. And you mentioned how much the port actually impacts our local economy and things like that. So I was just wondering, what kind of activities is the port involved with to help mitigate job loss due to, increased technology and automation? Or is there like training of current, longshore workers to do like maintenance of the automated vehicles? I just wanted to know what the port's plan was there.
Yeah, so regarding retraining the workforce, so when Long Beach Container Terminal, when they signed on to this partnership of creating that terminal, this was a 40-year lease, and they needed Longshore or ILW to sign on to it. And everyone knew that there was going to be automation in that facility. The agreement was the fact of, instead, because it was in a certain degree displacing jobs, but what they agreed upon was to reskill and upskill their workforce. So what some of our longshoremen are doing is working on the machinery, working on the technology that is now at some of those facilities. And so that is the only, Long Beach Container Terminal is the only facility that is automated. That we have no plans to automate any other facility. All the other facilities are modifying their equipment to be a zero emissions, but it's human powered. It's not going to be automated. That is our only terminal that we have that is automated.
Thank you.
So in addition to that, we've also, regarding the workforce as well, we do have a partnership with Long Beach City College, where we offer maritime, and logistics courses. It's called the Maritime Center of Excellence. They offer courses there for folks that want to get into the industry, to get them recognized certifications. We also, the port does offer scholarships and internships. I know we just increased our budget, but we have about $25,000 for high school students. I want to say another 15,000 at Long Beach City College for trades, and also for folks that want to transfer. And then also at Long Beach State, we also offer a significant amount of scholarships for folks that are interested in engineering, in social sciences, like environmental sciences, business, logistics. So all of the sort of industries that the port supports, the port is supporting students through scholarship dollars as well.
Great, thanks.
Mhm. Any other questions?
I have one last follow-up question. I wanted to see if anyone had any. That's great. I was wondering if, like, well, what the job loss has been, and like if it's feasible to like provide that training. So I understand there's scholarships, but not, I have heard like talking, some folks in Wilmington that they're worried like their job's gonna get lost because the automation. Is it are you able to provide that training like free of charge to anyone? Is that something that could happen? And also, how much are you working kind of with the unions to negotiate something like that where, their workers are just like fully protected,
Yeah. So,
not losing a
oh,
paycheck.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, it's
So
okay.
two things. Right now, we do have a PLA. I'm not sure. I know the city has a PLA, but we have our own PLA, and that's a project labor agreement. So that's number one. And number two, with job losses, I saw this study a while ago, and so I don't know the actual number, but I know that from like the 1970s, the number of longshoremen has decreased. And that is because of technology and because of everything else. That for sure has decreased the number of memberships. But that doesn't mean that it's taken away jobs. It just means that some of them were not, because of the cranes were introduced, right? So people didn't move them by hand, didn't move commerce by hand. It was moved by a truck. It was moved by a train. It was moved by a crane or something to that effect. So that for sure has happened throughout the decades. The other thing is with our PLA, we do have a PLA which our projects have to fit within those project labor agreements. And I don't have the exact details, but I know for sure that it does include in there local hiring. It does include X amount of jobs with our different unions, like our cement masons, our laborers, our IBEW, our electric International Brotherhood of Electric Workers. So there's quite a bit of that within the PLA. So that does help out to ensure that people are getting a livable wage, that are getting apprenticeships, they're hiring locally, that they're preferencing veterans, all here within our region. Any more questions? I feel like my screen is really bright.
So do we have any more questions for Mario?
Okay, again, feel free, Veronica, if you want to just drop in our emails in there. If you have any questions, please let us know, even if after this, or if you know someone that is, seeking additional information. We're here as a resource. We could help, guide that person or yourself towards the right direction, or where to get this information, or about scholarships, whatever it might be. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us via email. That's probably the best way right now since we're not in the office. Okay?
Okay. Sounds
Thank you
good.
so much,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Veronica. thanks for bearing with me for 3 months.
And thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You guys are always welcome up here, you know.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
Oh wait, did you guys just hear that there's a project up there on 51st Street, right? That's the Port of Long Beach is I forget how much, but it's quite a bit of money that is helping out that over there by DeForest Park and like 51st Street or something to help with that project up there. And that is part of our community grants program.
How do we find information about that project? I don't think we know about it.
I
We
can
don't know about
send the link.
Oh.
first, yeah. That's the
We
8th
can drop-
district. We don't have the contact over there.
Okay, we can drop it in the chat if you want. That I know our board approved it, and then I think it went to council, but it was a total of like almost $2 million that went to the city from the port. Can you hear? From the city to the port. I think it's a total of 1.9 million, but it was for the project over by DeForest Park, and then there was another one by Chavez Park. So
Okay.
I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, and we are now at the end of our meeting, and generally speaking, at the end of all our meetings, we are a 501c3, DeForest Park is. So we allow for public speaking for up to 3 minutes. And I think we have one speaker who has been contributing already, and that would be Fatima. So would you like to say something, Fatima?
Yeah, I do. I'm so happy that I was finally able to attend your meeting. I know I've seen many of you, Dan, and people from this association in person. It's just such a different world right now. I just first of all hope and pray that you guys are doing healthy and well. I know North Long Beach has been doing a lot of community, help and organizing in terms of food distribution and masks and everything. So just that's amazing to see that. But just praying that you guys are doing well. We were doing some mutual aid with our campaign a little bit, so happy to help with any of those efforts as well. Dan, am I allowed to mention I'm a candidate? Is that okay?
You just did.
Okay,
and we
so
already
is that
know
allowed?
that.
I want to make sure I'm not breaking any rules.
No, you're not breaking any
Okay,
rules.
stop me if I'm saying too much, okay? All right.
Okay.
So just want to remind you guys then that everyone's getting a vote by mail ballot. It's gonna actually be mailed out October 5th. California's all vote by mail. I really hope, it's really scary with Trump out there with the postal service. So I think we should just make sure our vote counts, do it as soon as you can, and make sure it gets counted. And I'll be on the ballot. So my name is Fatima Iqbal. I met a lot of you, but I'll be on the race for state assembly. I do hope you look me up and look at my website. Ask me any questions. I'm on Facebook. I'll drop my email in the chat as well. And if you want to sign up for our campaign updates, you're more than welcome to as well. And do reach out because we're doing some mutual aid help. So if you do anyone that needs help, do let us know. So thank you, Dan, for letting me share.
No problem at all. So do we have any other questions?
Dan, I would like to add, Fatima, you brought it up about voting.
Yes.
There is a site where you can go, where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov, and you can actually track your ballot when it's mailed to you, when it's received, and when it's counted in the state of California. It's a good way. You can set up text alerts, emails to make sure your ballot was actually counted and not lost by the Postal Service, or when you drop it off in Norwalk or one of the voting boxes, that it's actually been counted. So you would actually have it.
Let's drop the link. What was the name of the link? I'll drop it in the chat.
It's where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov.
Okay. Yeah, I'm it's hard with ballots, right? It's just, especially with having Trump and all these things. I mean, it's with COVID, we want to make sure our vote gets counted. So yeah, I'll drop it in the chat right now. Thanks for sharing that.
So
This is Joni. I'd also mentioned that there is a ballot drop-off box now at the Michelle Obama Library.
Hey, there we go. Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Just a Joni motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
And that is all we wrote. Thank you all.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Stay healthy.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.